Hey, what's up guys? This is Jeff with Gamestork, and I want to look at some of the information given to us about the new Pokemon game for the Nintendo Switch, and also Metroid Prime 4 from E3.
Gamestork, delivering news, reviews, and playthroughs like a newborn baby.
So, Nintendo dropped a major piece of news during E3 last week. At least one mainline core Pokemon game will make the jump from the 3DS to the Nintendo Switch. And at the time, we didn't have much information, but now Nintendo's revealed just a little bit more so that we're going to have an idea of what to expect. So according to a Bloomberg Tech reporter, Nintendo of America President Reggie Fils-Aimé has confirmed that the Switch game will indeed be a main Pokemon game, setting it apart from past console Pokemon titles like Pokemon Colosseum, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, things like this. Not to say that these aren't good games, but this next game is a core Pokemon title that will be a mainline series game. The first time that a Pokemon game from the mainline series has ever made its way to a home console. The Pokemon, and this is quoted from Reggie, it says the Pokemon Switch game will be a traditional find, battle, train type of experience. And that's what he told the reporter. Now, this is great. Yuji Nakamura tweeted this, as you can see in front of you. It says, "We interviewed Reggie. Metroid Prime 4 will be a first-person adventure and Pokemon RPG, a traditional find, battle, train type of experience." Now, thanks to Nintendo Switch's hybrid nature, this new Pokemon game would technically still be on a handheld console, but every core Pokemon game before it has obviously been just handheld, as it is Pocket Monsters after all. For the first time in the Pokemon series, though, players would be able to dock their Switches, see their trainer and their team on that big screen, watch it, rock it, catch Pokemon, and that's exciting. There's no word on when the Nintendo Switch Pokemon game will release, but we likely won't see it until at least a year after Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Now, ironically, even though we don't know the exact time, what we do know is that in a recent interview, we were told that both of these games is set to come out sometime in 2018. Now, like always, we have to say that, you know, due dates can be pushed back. During the E3 conference, as we saw Satoshi Tajiri, he said that this would take about a year in order for it to come out. I mean, it came out of his own mouth, even though that was a guesstimation. We know that the Pokemon series can be expected probably 2018, as well as Metroid. Now, I was also blown away by the fact that as I was watching the last Nintendo voice chat, they had a special guest named Bill Trennan. You probably heard of him. And the entire time, they were hinting towards more Metroid information. Well, they left with a little nugget of information at the very end of the podcast. If you want to go to episode 360 of Nintendo Voice Chat. And at the very end, it says, "I'll give you this. It's done right. It looks great. It's awesome. It's beautiful." And he just went on about what this thing looks like and how they're doing it right. Now, when I saw that JPEG image, I was thinking that this was just a concept they were still talking about and they possibly haven't even started development on. But come to find out, this is actually something that's already been in development. And it looks really good. Apparently, it looks so good that, you know, he can talk about the system and the battle system and different things. Yeah, I like that. He didn't give too much, but he gave enough to let us know that it has been worked on for a good while. Now, the amazing thing about that is this is going to be a first-person adventure. Oh, thank you. Like, I'm so excited about Metroid Prime 4. And I know a lot of people just lost their marbles when they saw that JPEG image, just like me. Jumped up out of my chair and I was like, yes, 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 yes. And it was just this moment of victory. We didn't even have to see the game because we know, we don't know who the developer is yet either. But we know it's going to be a quality game. Why? Because it's Nintendo. The Switch is way more powerful than the Wii U. It's way more powerful than the Wii. And this game is going to be beautiful and impressive and just awesome. So expect Metroid Prime 4 probably in the fourth quarter, if it does come out in 2018, in the fourth quarter of 2018. Also, Pokemon will probably be around that same time. But if Nintendo follows suit with the things, you know, they're pushing out right now, like a steady flow of games, and these two games are set for 2018, that means we have Yoshi, Kirby, Metroid Prime 4, and Pokemon on the Nintendo Switch in 2018, which to me is amazing. Not to mention, I believe that 2018 is the year of the third party for the Nintendo Switch. I think that all the games that are set to release at that time or in development at that time, or whatever's going to be announced, they will be coming to the Switch, as we can see just, oh man, time and time again, these systems and these engines and things like that being announced that, they work with the Switch now and stuff like that. I think it's going to be really, really good for the future of the Switch. So that's at least four first-party titles that are looking to come in 2018 to the Nintendo Switch. And let's not, underrate this. Metroid Prime 4 is huge. People have argued that is not a system seller, but let me tell you, if you do this right as a first-person shooter, it'll sell some consoles. Oh yes. Not to mention that Mario Odyssey coming out this Christmas, which is actually, I say Christmas, but you know what I mean. It's coming out late October, and it's going to push the sales for the Christmas season. And a lot of kids are going to get this thing on Christmas Day with Mario Odyssey packed in. Let's just face that. So calling this a Christmas release is perfectly okay. But Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Mario coming out for just tons of games. Skyrim this year, all this stuff. This is going to drive sales like out of this world, push the install base at the end of the fiscal year next year up very, very high. As I can't wait to see the actual numbers, which should come out mid to late July, about how much they've sold so far. And I'm sure that considering these things are selling as fast as they can get them on the shelves, that it's a lot. But these two titles, just in themselves, are big enough, especially Pokemon, are big enough to not only drive up stock, not only drive up sales, but let me tell you this, all the people who did not get a Nintendo Switch for Mario Odyssey or The Legend of Zelda, if they do decide to wait, they're going to pick it up for Pokemon, they're going to pick it up for Metroid Prime 4, and they're going to pick it up next year when all the third parties are announced. Big, big future for Nintendo, and I cannot wait for it. I'm super excited to be a Nintendo fan, and right now, to be honest with you, that's really how I feel across the board. Even though I feel like the Sony had somewhat of a lackluster E3, there was no big surprises. They were very straightforward, and they showed us games that would be in our hands before too long, even though they might be in early 2018. And so I'm excited to be a Nintendo fan right now. I'm excited to be a fan of Sony's PlayStation, and I'm excited to be an Xbox fan. It's a really good time to be a gamer, and Nintendo, overall, I believe Nintendo right now is just rocking it. They have it figured out. The only thing that they need to do is win out on this battle for parts, and so they can make more systems, make more consoles because of the shortage of parts. What that's going to do, I don't really know. How that's going to affect the systems coming out, I don't know. It looks like, they're pushing to get to the 18 million out in the market by the end of the fiscal year next year, which is not that long away. So perhaps they'll have a lot more coming out towards Christmas, maybe in October, because there's going to be a huge push for console sales in October, obviously because of Mario. Anyway, that does it for this discussion here. I guess it's kind of news plus discussion equals awesome, 8 to 10 minutes of you listening, or however long this winds up being. But I was just really excited to read that we know for sure now Metroid Prime 4 is a first-person shooter experience. I've said before I'd love it to be an open world. It doesn't necessarily have to be an open world. It could be like in a spacecraft, like going through corridors and rooms and exploration there. Just something that's really cool and not necessarily different, but just kind of upgraded off of the last Metroid Primes. I hate to say different because the other ones were so good, and I'm excited to see what they bring. I really am. And Pokemon, oh my goodness, just don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. Although I've been talking about it for a long time. This Pokemon game is big for me, and it should be for you. Pokemon core titles coming to the Nintendo Switch is a big, big deal. It is a huge system seller. And if you don't believe me, look up the numbers for yourself to see how many Pokemon games sell as they come out every single time on the Nintendo 3DS. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Be sure to subscribe below if you have not already. I would love to have you as part of the community here. And the best way you can help me out and keep up with all the cool news and discussions and playthroughs and reviews is just to hit that red subscribe button down there. And I'll certainly appreciate it if you do. For all you guys who are listening, thank you so much for taking the time to hear me out and pour my soul out about these amazing new games that are coming this next year. I'm very excited about them, and I hope you are too. Come on, Metroid Prime 4 and Pokemon in the same year, that's a pretty big deal, okay? So you guys have a great evening, and we'll see you next time.